Gamescom was last week, and Owlcat Games came bearing a plethora of new information about their upcoming third-person action RPG, The Expanse Osiris Reborn. They dropped a new trailer, the environmental showcase trailer, where they showed off 3 locations from the game. They also brought a hefty 60-minute closed-door hands-off demo, and the folks at Polygon and Space.com have written articles sharing their impressions and bringing us quite a lot of new information in the process. So let's dive in and let's get started with the trailer, which is what you're seeing here. We start off on the agriculture world of Ganymede. First we see it with its bright domes and lush vegetation, followed by what appears to be shots of the station after the destruction caused by the battle between Mars and Earth that took place there during the Expanse novels and TV show. Don't worry if you're not familiar with those events. According to the articles from Polygon and Space.com, you don't have to be. The characters will be learning about the protomolecule and everything that's going on as they go, and we'll be learning right along with them. Next up, the trailer shows off the Pinkwater Security Station. This is the headquarters for the mercenary company that our characters work for. And finally, the trailer shows off several locations from Ceres, which of course is a location that features very prominently in both the novels and the TV show. So if you are familiar with the TV show, these environments should look very familiar to you. Owlcat says they took inspiration for their visual design for these locations and some returning characters from the TV show. You'll even be able to listen to James Holden's broadcast about what happened on Eros. The trailer also brings us some dialogue between the female PC and her twin sister Jay, so I'll leave a link in the description as it's worth listening to. But now let's move on to what we learned from the demo. Now, like I said before, this was a hands-off demo, but it was quite hefty at about an hour long, and while the journalists didn't actually play the game themselves, they were allowed to dictate some of the choices. The Polygon article has quite a lot of spoilers for the first part of the game, so if you're not interested in that, then maybe give this one a pass. The Space.com one, however, mostly talks about the gameplay and the writer's overall impressions, so it's a pretty safe read if you don't want any story spoilers at all. And of course, if you do want to read the articles, there is a link in the description. I won't be getting too spoilery here, we'll just be covering the basic new information that we learned. Starting off with character creation, we already know you can customize your character and pick your origin, either Earth, Mars, or the Belt, but we now know that you also have some preset builds that you can choose from. These aren't classes, they're just ways to pick your starting equipment and abilities, and you can build on those as you go. And they gave us a couple of examples. There's the Marksman, which is a sniper, and an officer, which primarily uses assault rifles. These are just a starting point. They won't lock you into or out of any particular weapon type or playstyle. Our companions will also have their own specialist abilities. For example, our twin, whose name is J, just the letter J, has the ability to take advantage of structural weaknesses. So for example, they can shoot a weak spot in the ceiling and pull it down on enemies, or blow up part of the environment to set enemies on fire. They also gave the example of a hacker who can use a terminal to hit people with an EMP blast, or a sniper who can provide supporting fire. We will have some control over our companions during combat. We'll be able to direct them to attack specific enemies, or interact with objects in the environment. You know when there's something you can do with the environment because a prompt will appear whenever there's an interactable object nearby. You can use these to create or destroy cover while in combat, or you can topple things like ceiling fans onto the top of enemies' heads and kill them. Your companions might also have advice for how they'd like to handle certain situations, and this goes for the companions on your team as well as the ones you didn't bring with you. You can choose to heed this advice or do your own thing. Either way, it will prompt a reaction from your companions, and it might affect your relationship too. Now, we talked a little about how you can change the environment during combat, but apparently the destructibility of the environment doesn't stop there. Walls will take damage from bullets, and according to the Space.com article, walls in your ship can simply fall apart as your ship takes damage. But your choices can change the environment too. During the demo, the PC was able to persuade the head of Pinkwater Space Station to engage in a battle on their behalf. This led to a devastating battle where most of the inhabitants of the space station are killed. And going back through the space station afterwards, the PC is met with bodies and signs of destruction everywhere. But apart from their destructibility, both articles were very impressed with how detailed and good the environments actually looked, especially those views of space that you can see while they were outside the space station. Of course, there's plenty of things to do outside of combat as well. The game is divided into several explorable zones. The ones that are confirmed to be in the game right now are Mars, Luna, and Ceres. Each zone contains secrets, missable side quests, tons of NPCs, and of course, loot. So you'll want to explore thoroughly and talk to everybody you can. They also mentioned finding crafting materials, so apparently there'll be some kind of crafting system in the game. Some of these secrets will be locked behind skill checks. The examples they gave were persuasion and science. And that's great to know because for me it's not much of an RPG if we don't have non-combat skills, especially those social skills. But unlike in previous Owlcat games, these skill checks will be simply based on how many points you have in that skill. So you either have it or you don't. There won't be any dice rolling. And finally we learned that we'll be able to get through all of this in about 20 to 30 hours. And there you have it. Both articles were very positive and seemed to enjoy what they saw. And Owlcat is certainly saying all the right things, at least as far as we're concerned. But leave us a comment and let us know what you think. And while you're down there, why not like and subscribe for more content like this. As always, thanks for watching.